So now we're going to have time now for some 10, 15 minutes of Q&A, Perguntas y Respostas. I'll invite Simone and Wendy to come so you may ask questions. Yeah, and the chair, as cadeiras. Cadê os cadeiras? Okay. You can ask questions. There will be microphones in the two sides. Anyone who want to ask questions to... I think we had, again, another example. Those who had seen Bob Hogan's presentation in the past or watched in YouTube, his presentations is amazing. His logic, how he presents everything and brings somber but realistic information for us to think. And so I bet that we have Simone, who's supporting all distributors in Latin America and in Canada. So you can ask questions to him. I didn't let him. We need the translations for them. I didn't let him present because he's also a Latin as I am, so he probably will speak too much. Right? Okay. So and then he spoke yesterday. We had 6 hours. Yeah, your quota.
But yesterday you did. I'm sorry.
Yeah, very good. So any questions? Wendy presented about leadership is broken. RT presented. Microphone here, please. Mara Belao. You're going to say in English or Portuguese? English? Okay.
So, great speeches, highly inspirational, great data, great samples. What about, let's consider the leader is non-negotiable. The leader has to be there. And it's a bad leader. And, well, this is just hypothetical. And the team needs to survive. The team needs to give results. What can be said to this team? What can be done?
I would say mátalo.
Mátalo.
Buena idea. Excelente.
Mátalo.
Not do that. So how do the team reinforce themselves
CEO.
if they do not have a leader?
Well,
how can they put a barrier between them and the leader and keep on moving?
Okay, I think basically what happens in those scenarios, unless of course the bad leader crushes everyone, but is that you will get a natural leader will evolve out of that group, I believe, if they're surviving, if they're actually contributing to the organization.
Yeah.
So either you have over here
Amos.
no contribution, such dysfunction that nothing happens, or somebody in that group, tries to take over and lead. I don't know if you're going to have a revolution, but oftentimes there was somebody who will rise within the ranks to.
Wendy is much more diplomatic than me, which is why she's so much more successful.
I would like to add, in those cases and with this context, what we would recommend, and we always promote, is the self-awareness in leaders, right? So start working with the leaders. It'll be interesting to see the report, the LFS or flash report, to understand the profile, help him to be self-aware, right? And also look at the results of the team, like Wendy was explaining. How is the team performing? So when you put all those facts, evidences, like data in front of them about their personality and results of the team, then, okay, he should have, or she, the opportunity to realize that a needs to be made, a change needs to be made. And for the team, well, poor team. Yeah.
Thank you.
And that's true about 65% of the time. I mean, that's the norm. That's not,
That would
that's
be-
not an unusual case, that's a typical case.
Good. Questions? Yeah, there's one there. Can, get, sound? Thank you so much.
Tá me ouvindo?
Yes.
So we hear a lot about cultural change, and based on the values model, we can understand that culture is ultimately defined by a set of values. And when you consider a cultural change, is this something that should be done top-down, bottom-up, or both? Mainly thinking about family business, in which the values for the business pretty much get confused with family and personal values.
Wendy's better, Wendy's actually better at this. I think it's a long process, and you just have to it's messaging. It's being careful what you say and how you say it, but messaging, this is what we're going to value, this is what we're going to support, this is what we're going to disvalue and not support.
Well, basically, if you're going to make a change within the organization on values, I think also you have to take into consideration that I think the big one that employees pick up on are what RJ mentioned is what you reward and what you punish. Shall we say punish?
Yes.
Or
Sanction.
I mean, because sanction, because that's what employees will pick up on the most. And I think if you're trying to change that model and the executives are on board to change it because they might not even be aware of what they're rewarding and punishing, is that they have to be really aware of that and then say, okay, so if you really want these values, these are the kinds of rewards that should be going on. And then these are the kinds of things that you shouldn't sanction.
And you have to do it strategically and self-consciously. You have to be really clear about what you're trying to do. You can't just wing it.
It's a really heavy lift. I mean, a really heavy lift, I think.
Questions? One more? Yeah, Adriana.
Hi, thank you very much. I participated in the study groups, and we are following some tendency of change on how to evaluate people in organizations, not on the individual or on the collective. What the company is doing, and not one person, not one show guy, basically. Due to the, como é que fala, vieses, due to the biases that involves. And what you brought about the MBA people and what are the values, this is something that is being brought up a lot, Occidental and Oriental, and where did we come from, and primitive, I don't know if it's primitive, but Indians or Africans or whatever cultures, and how it was, and what the big cities and the Occidental changed, and now seems like, oh, maybe that was right. And my question is, do you see that tendency? Do you see that at all in the assessments? This change of values, this change of orientation that is more collaborative, there is less war, less I kill you, and more collaborative, because this is being asked. This is being necessary between countries, between organizations, inside the organization itself. So this is something needed. Everybody is, we need this, we need this. Humankind will survive if we do that. And I don't seem to see that much. We see very spotted places where you see this more collaborative and less one-man show or war.
Você se lembra
What is
onde
value,
você
what
pôs
is
os
done,
cartões?
really.
Porque monte de
And my question is, do you see that in the evaluation, I don't know, past 5 years, 10 years, something? How is this, if you see this change?
You, you mean to collectively, do we see it in our assessment data? Is that
Yes, in the data, if you see that change in the data, yes.
warring factions versus collaboration?
But just to be clear, within the group, you need as much collaboration as you can possibly get. The competitive, the aggressive thing is aimed toward those guys, your competitors. Within the group, you really have to build on collective performance. That's what makes it. It's teamwork, it's asabiya, it's engagement. But it's okay to, you have no choice because those other organizations are coming after you. And we have terrible competitors who lie about us, and so within the group, it has to be as much cooperation as you can possibly get, and that's old wisdom, ancient wisdom from our forefathers, right? But between groups, it's the law of the jungle, and if you don't understand it, you're in big trouble. Just ask the Ukrainians.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm following on that, and to your question is, if we've seen also that leaders are realizing from being individualistic with importance to be more collective effort, right? So I think that has to do a lot with cultures in the world, etc., what a culture values the most. From the assessment, and we were talking yesterday, we don't see high remarkable cultural differences. What we see is that depending on the context, one scale, one characteristic is relevant to achieve success in that group. Because for one group's individualism could be a value, and they achieve that. But what Dr. Hogan was saying is that definitely collaboration within groups, based on the socioanalytic theory, collaboration between groups will make you stronger to survive and get ahead. All right? It helps.
I would say our higher purpose is bringing about the results that you desire. That's the business we think we're in, or we're trying to be in.
Mm-hmm. Any other question?
I'm out.
No? Really?
Time's up. Time's up.
Huh? Time's up.
Okay.
Time's up. One more.
Not so fast.
Real quick, I have a question because I think you brought a lot of good examples of negative results, and I was wondering if you had a good example, well, to share with us and how the values actually contributed to a company's performance today. We looked a little bit at past stories about mergers and acquisitions, and what would be a company today that you would say is doing a really good job? Thanks.
Good example, right?
The examples that I have a list of companies that were running badly and got a new CEO who imposed these kinds of values and turned them around. But as of today, I can't. I'm not. Mostly, I see problems. But there are real life examples of companies that get turned around and run productively and appropriately if they follow the rules that we organize.
Yeah, we are talking, and you mentioned about family-owned businesses.
Oh yeah. Well, the data show that the best-run companies in the world are family-owned businesses, where the founders are running the business. The worst-run companies in the world are state-owned enterprises, run by politicians. And there are real significant differences in productivity and financial well-being. And people who own the business understand that they need their workforce to be happy. But if you're just a politician, if you're an MBA who's just shopping job to job as you move up the corporate ladder, you don't care what you. There was another question in the same row.
Microphone. Where? Who's? No, we thought, who was raising your hand? You see?
Yeah.
Ok. Maybe she gave up. Desistiu de fazer pergunta? Alguém mais? Ok. Então, novamente uma salva de palmas. I'll ask you to stay. Now we're going to give some, but we're going to stand up and take the chairs. They're going to. Before, take care with the water.
Yes.
Antes de irmos, before we go to our cocktail, Dr. Hogan. he's in a hurry to go to the cocktail, right?
Siempre.
Sorry. Before we go to lunch, cocktail, networking, etc., I would like to make a short ceremony here to recognize and thank some of our clients and partners that have been for 10 years or more in consistent presence and consistent use of Hogan. That means they are getting, the best in terms of interpreting and using Hogan. So we'd like to recognize and thank some of them. It's a small list, of course. We have many clients, but we would like to recognize for the time, for the tenure, for the, let's say, loyalty or fidelity with Atelier and Hogan. So I'd like to bring to the stage two people from Bridgestone, Lucila Del Grande and Juliana Seguedin. Simone. A Lucila. Simone? Yes, I'm going to work. A Lucila teve que ir embora, né? For you, Bob. Mariane Guerra from ADP System. That's Dr. Hogan. Tirar? Ficar? Mariane, vai ficando aqui, vamos ver se cabemos todos. Eu tinha que vir, eu falei que devia. Now, Maria Isabel Ribeiro, she couldn't for family reasons. Carolina Oliveira came? She didn't come? No, she didn't come. So, two down. Eles são da Mercer, a Maria Isabel Ribeiro e a Carolina Oliveira. A Maria Isabel sabia, a Carolina acho que não conseguiu chegar, então we are going to deliver later. Samira Awada, também não. Schneider Electric, também não. Mas agora, essas pessoas estão aqui e vou ter muito prazer de cumprimentar e agradecer. Primeiro, minha amiga Nielce Maluf, da Gema Consult. Vai lá. Nielce. Yeah. No, he has the name. You can keep. Ah, você. De lei. Aqui. Outro grande parceiro, amigo por mais de 10 anos, Ronald Michelson, da Tangram Consultoria Organizacional. Obrigado. ver aqui, pessoal. A outra grande parceira e amiga da Gevaert Consultores Associados, Eliana Gevaert, por favor. É uma das pessoas que eu estava falando. Não, você tem que ir, Eliana, você tem que ir. Obrigado. E representando a Right Management Manpower, a Vilma Dacol não podia vir, está no Rio hoje, e Andreas Burmaster representando a Right Management. Obrigado por ter vindo representar aí, viu? Oh, Victor. Assim, ó. Oh, coquetel, almoço, let's do some hedonism. Hedonismo. Uhul!
Thank you, Lord.